we are officially live here on the YouTube, and tonight we are doing a workshop called How to Create a Study Routine You'll Actually Stick to, even if you are a chronic procrastinator. This is a workshop that I have hosted many times in the past, and tonight we're going to be viewing a recording of when I did it the last time. And the reason for this is because we are wrapping up a 5-day challenge called the Your Best Semester Yet Challenge, where I have for the past 5 days been going live answering questions about college success inside of a private Facebook group. And there is still time to enroll in the challenge, because for the entire month of August we are doing a back to school extravaganza where I am going in really hard and helping you to set yourself up for success this coming semester. So if you are interested in signing up for that challenge, stick around because I will be dropping links for you to sign up for the challenge, get inside of the private Facebook group that'll run the entire month of August. We are going to be doing a 12-hour study skills marathon in there coming up in the next few weeks, where every hour on the hour I'm going to be deep diving into a study strategy that you can use throughout the semester. We're going to be talking about procrastination, time management, and all of that goodness. And tonight we're celebrating the end of the live round of the Your Best Semester Yet Challenge with this workshop. So again, this workshop is recorded, and there is a very specific reason why I am having you watch the recording. And the reason is that I want to be able to provide you with individualized feedback and answers to your questions as you're going through the worksheets and the assignments that we're going to be doing tonight on the workshop. And it's hard for me to do that when I'm also teaching at the same time. So you're going to want to engage in the chat. I'm going to be live in the chat as we're all watching this workshop and going through the assignments together. And as you have questions, as you're looking for support, drop it in the comments. I'm going to be giving you very detailed, elaborate answers on how to move forward, on how to succeed this semester. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this super juicy, detailed, no fluff workshop. Okay, so you are watching the workshop, How to Create a Study Plan that you'll actually stick to, even if you're a chronic procrastinator. And if you have been on this workshop in the past, we have revamped it. This is going to be almost completely different. And I want to preface this by saying that, number one, even though this is about creating a study plan, the process that I'm going to walk you through today, you can literally use it every single month to plan for the month. You can use this mid-semester. You can use this after you fail an exam. You can use this at any point that you need to give yourself a little bit of dose of motivation, get yourself together, get your life in order. That's really the purpose of this workshop. My goal with this workshop is to help you reset and reframe so that you can finish the semester strong. And I want to help you stop getting in your own way so that you have a clear plan on what you need to do to gain momentum, to really finish off feeling proud of yourself no matter what happens. So whether you hit your goals or not, whether you get the grade it is that you wanted or not, I want you to feel good that you gave it your all and that you didn't give up on yourself. That's really what I'm trying to get across with this workshop. I honestly want you to see how easy it can be for you to see academic success, because literally you only need 5 things. And if you are adding more onto this than these 5 things, you are overcomplicating things and self-sabotaging. So let's go ahead and talk about the elements of a study plan that you'll actually stick to. Starting with number 1, which is goal setting. And I'm going to be diving into each one of these 5 steps. So just take a screenshot of this or write this down quickly. I'm going to go into it in more detail. So the first one is goal setting. This is where we start, whether I work with students one-on-one, whether students are going through a study school, we always start with, what are you trying to achieve? Goal setting is number one. The second element of a study routine that you'll actually stick to is a study schedule. Now, a study schedule is different than a study routine, and I'm going to clarify that for you right here. A study schedule tells you when you're going to study, what day and what time. The third element that your study routine needs is that your study plan needs is a study routine. Now, a study routine is what you're physically doing, the actions that you're physically taking during your study time on a particular date at a particular time. So again, a study schedule is when, date and time. A study routine is the what. What actions are you taking during that study time? The fourth element of a study plan that you'll actually stick to is mindset and emotional adulthood. Without this right here, none of this other stuff matters. If you cannot create a ritual around this, if you cannot create a consistent habit around this, this will not work. And this element right here is what most study YouTubers are not talking about. This is the reason why you spend hours and hours looking for the perfect app, looking for the perfect planner, looking for the perfect study routine and study schedule and study plan and the way to take notes and the way to read a textbook. And you can't get yourself to follow through on any of it because you are sitting in mindset and emotional childhood instead of mindset and emotional adulthood. And I'm going to talk about how this is sneaking up on you because most of you are probably not even aware that you're doing this, that you're in a mindset of and a mindset and emotion of childhood. And then the fifth element is proper support and community so that you can get the feedback it is that you need in order to stay on track with your goals. So let's go ahead and start off by diving into element number one, which is goal setting. And for each of these elements, I'm going to have you physically do something so that at the end of this workshop, you have a plan that you can then go forth and start taking action on immediately. So the purpose of setting goals is not so that we can achieve them. It is not so that you can, at the end of the semester, say you got an A, you got a B, and then all of a sudden your life is happier. That is not the reason why we set goals, or it should not be the reason why you set goals, because nothing outside of you, not a grade, not a planner, not a major, not a career, not a car, not the amount of money you make will ever make you happier. None of that will ever make you happier. It will make your life simpler. It can make your life easier, but it cannot generate happiness for you. You have to generate the happiness for yourself, and that happens through the way that you think about your grades, about your major, about your college, university, about your career, and about the lifestyle it is that you're living right now. So I just want to make that clear because many of us, when we set goals from this place of lack, from this desperation, from I hate my life right now, I hate the way things are going. And so what you're trying to do is desperately change your situation because you're unhappy in it. And so you start chasing all of these things that you think are going to make you happier. But in reality, all it's going to do is make you more miserable because nothing outside of you can ever create happiness. That's the first thing that I want to tell you is that the purpose of setting goals is not so that you achieve them. And I know that this is counterintuitive to everything that you've heard, but this is the truth of the universe. You don't set goals to achieve them. You set goals and because you want to evolve, because you want to grow. The reason you set goals is so that you rise to be the person that can achieve those goals, so that you become the person that can achieve those goals, so that you think like the person that can achieve those goals, so that you literally stand up to the occasion of your fullest potential. That is the only reason why we set goals, is to see who we can become in the process. So we start off study school, we start off one-on-one when I work with students with this goal setting process because
When you set a goal that stretches you, meaning you're not 100% sure if you can hit it. You'd like to think deep down that you have the potential to hit it, but you're not really sure how you're going to make it happen because you've either never done it before, you've tried to do it before and you failed, you were like this close and you missed it by like 0.2 of a point or 0.1 of a point, right? We start off with the goal so that we can see all of the things, all of the stories, all of the thoughts, all of the emotions that come up for you when you're setting goals, because those thoughts, those emotions, and those stories are going to be the number one hindrance for you for the rest of the semester. And if you don't start right now to identify them and start creating a plan to overcome them, you are never, ever, ever, ever going to live the life that you want, because it's always going to hold you back. You will always self-sabotage. So again, the reason why we set goals is not so that we can achieve them, but so that we can rise to our potential, so that we can become the woman who is worthy internally of achieving that goal, because you are already her in your mind. And you do that by setting goals that stretch you. Now, when we set goals, we want to make sure that our goals are realistic, but we have to be careful with that, because oftentimes when we set goals that are realistic, we can limit ourselves because we don't want to set the goal too high in case we fail, in case we don't hit it. We're trying to protect our ego. But my friend, staying in that comfort zone is not going to allow you to rise up into your brilliance. It's going to keep you exactly where you are. So when we set goals, we always want to set goals that stretch us a little bit, so that make us a little bit scared, that make us think, ooh, can I hit this or not? Because again, when we set goals that stretch us, it allows all of the thoughts, all of the emotions, all of these stories that we're telling ourselves to hold ourselves back from actually achieving the goal. So what I want you to do right now for the next 5 minutes, I'm literally going to mute myself. I'm going to turn off the video. I'm going to set a timer on my phone. And if you don't already have a piece of paper and a pen right now, you need to take it out. And what you're going to do is you're going to start brainstorming some goals that you want to hit by the end of this semester. They can be directly related to grades. They can be directly related to your academic experience or not. I don't care what you pick. So it can be around health and fitness. It can be around your relationship. It can be around anything that you want. Maybe you have a goal to like learn how to put lipstick on, whatever it is. I don't care. I just want you to brainstorm a list of goals that stretch you. Again, make you a little scared, make you wonder whether or not you are capable of hitting them. So don't pick a goal that you know for sure you're going to hit at the end of the semester, because my friend, that is not going to allow you to step into your brilliance. It's not going to challenge you. It's not going to help you to grow as a person, to stay in that comfort zone. So again, we're picking a goal that stretches you and that makes you a little bit afraid. It makes you doubt yourself a little bit on whether or not you're actually going to hit it. So I'm going to go ahead right now and I'm going to set a timer on my phone. I'm going to mute myself, and I'm also going to turn off my video. And if you're here and you have questions, just type them into the comments or the Q&A and I'll answer them. And I'm going to hit start right now. We have about a minute left. Don't freak out. Don't rush. You can always come back and watch this workshop again. There will be a replay, and you can finish it up. Just try to get as much as you can written down. Don't worry about doing it perfectly. Don't worry about writing the goals in a specific way. I just kind of want you to brainstorm right now. All right, perfect. So if you want to go ahead and in the chat, I'd love for you girls to start sharing your goals with each other. So you might have written down that you have a goal of losing 30 pounds, or that you have a goal of finishing off the semester on the dean's list, or you have a goal of finishing off the semester with the C, or getting re-enrolled into a program, or reading 3 personal development books, or whatever it is that you set a goal for yourself. Go ahead and start sharing it with each other in the chat. Again, She Rocks at College is all about a community. You are safe here. No one is going to judge you. Everybody's here to support you and to cheer each other on. And you'll probably find that a lot of you guys have very, very, very similar goals, because I tend to attract women who are after the same things, right? Okay, so once you're taking a look at all of these goals, I want you to reread every single one of them. And again, we're going to take a few minutes to do this process that I'm going to walk you through next. I want you to look at every single one of the goals that you wrote down. And I want you to pick one. And here is how I want you to pick it. I want you to pick the goal that if you were to hit it, that if you were to accomplish it, it would give you the confidence that you needed to achieve almost every other goal on the list. It's kind of like a domino effect. It's called a domino goal. So if you hit that goal, you think to yourself, like, that, like, if I can do that, I can do anything right now. If I can do that, I know I can achieve this next goal. So again, I want you to read every single goal that you wrote down. And I want you to pick the one goal that when you look at that goal and you think and you feel what it would be like to actually hit it, it would give you such a confident boost that you are unstoppable for the rest of the semester. Once you have that goal picked out, and I would suggest that you either take a pen and like circle the hell out of it, take a highlighter and highlight that goal for yourself. And then what I want you to do is, on another blank sheet of paper, I want you to start writing down all of the thoughts, the fears, the obstacles that you think will prevent you from achieving that goal. So when you look at that goal, maybe you have a thought of, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Last time I tried this, I failed. Here we go again. I'm not going to hit it once more. I don't have the time. My kids don't ever let me work out. I don't have the skills. I don't have the ability. Whatever comes up for you, whatever thought, whatever obstacle you think is going to get in the way of you actually achieving the goal, I want you to write that down and then share it in the chat. I'm going to go again. I'm going to take myself off the camera. I am going to go ahead and mute myself, and I want you girls to work on this, okay? Doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be done. Not perfect, just done, okay? So I'm going to go ahead again. And just to give you a recap before I hit start, you're looking at your list of goals. You're picking the one goal that if you were to hit it, it would give you such a confidence boost for the rest of the semester that you would feel unstoppable. It's called a domino goal. It starts everything going and gives you the momentum. So you're going to pick that goal. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write down everything that you believe is going to get in the way of you actually achieving that goal and all of the thoughts that you have about being able to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit start here. See you in 5 minutes. All right, so time is up for that exercise. So perfect. So now we have a goal and we've written down everything that we believe, all our fears, all the obstacles, all the thoughts that we're using to prevent ourselves from actually going after this goal, right? The reason why I wanted to do this exercise is because all of those thoughts, all of those fears, all of those fake obstacles, you're using to self-sabotage. And the interesting thing is that when you're in it, the way that you guys are in it right now, everything you wrote down feels like a fact. It feels like you are literally just stating the news. Like, I'm too old to be doing this right now, or I don't know how. You're saying it as though it is fact, as though you're just stating the news, but you have control over changing that. And that's what I'm going to touch upon when we get to the mindset and emotional adulthood, because when you allow those thoughts and those obstacles, it's going to kill itself. That's what you guys are doing with those thoughts and those obstacles. And so what we need to start doing is learning how to make your environment safe, your mind safe, the place that you spend the most time with, which is yourself, safe. And we're going to be talking about that. But now that you have your goal picked out, we need to make sure that it is very specific and that it is measurable. So if you wrote down, I want to get good grades in chemistry, that's not specific enough. You actually want to state the number or the actual grade that you want to achieve. If you said that you wanted to lose weight, how much weight? If you said that you wanted to be more consistent with, say, reading, what does consistent mean? Is it 4 days a week? Is it 5 days a week? If you said you wanted to be more consistent with your workout schedule, what do you mean by more consistent? Define that for yourself. So for me, being consistent in the gym is 3 days a week. For me, being consistent with my study routine, it means that I am on time with my reading. So I'm doing my readings before the lecture. And it also means that at the end of the week, I'm doing a review. So you need to get specific so that you can track whether or not you're hitting that, whether or not you are doing that. And if you're setting a grade, we're going to talk about how, if you set a grade to get a B by the end of the semester, we'll talk about how to actually track that as we go along. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is to take that goal and make it specific and write it as though it's already happened. So I got a B+ in chemistry this semester. I lost 13 pounds by March 31st. I read 4 days a week for 2 months. I read 7 books this year. Whatever it is, you want to write it as though it's already happened and get specific, because we need to be able to track it. We need to be able to say whether or not we've achieved it or we're in the process of achieving it. So just take a minute to do that. I'm going to mute myself, but I'm not going to take myself off camera. And share it in the chat. Terry, I saw that you wrote down balance between school, work, and social life. To make that specific, how many days do you want to spend on schoolwork? How often do you want to do social life things? So does it look like I want to have 1 day a week where I have free to hang out with my friends or to do something that you like? So get specific like that. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone who's been sharing their goals inside of the chat. I can see everyone's. So all of you guys have like goals. Some of you have weight loss goals. I saw some money goals in there. Loving it. Okay. All right. So the goal setting portion of creating a study plan that sticks is done. Now, those of you who set financial goals, who set weight loss goals, who set any goal that you feel like maybe doesn't relate to you specifically doing better this semester, I promise you that it will, because the way you do everything, the way you think, the way you do anything, the way you think is the way that you do everything. There is no way that you're going to improve one area of your life and it's not going to have a ripple effect on the rest of your life. When you lose 10 pounds and you have the confidence after having done the damn thing, been consistent with your diet, been consistent with your workout program, you're going to walk differently. You're going to feel differently. You're going to think differently about yourself. So I don't want you to switch your goals as we go along just because you feel like it doesn't relate to academics. The process that I'm teaching you here is how you can stick to anything and make anything work for you, okay? And achieve any goal it is that you want. So once you have your goal set out, once you have your goal picked, the next thing that you need to do is you actually need to create the time and the space to be able to start working towards that goal. And that's where a study schedule or a schedule in general comes in. Now, remember, I said that a study schedule, it's just the time that you're going to study, the time that you're going to go to the gym, the time that you're going to sit down on Friday and transfer over your $100 to a bank account. A schedule is just a date and a time that you're setting aside consciously, purposely, deliberately setting aside to work towards your goal. That is what a study schedule is. And in order to create a study schedule that works hand in hand with you achieving your goals by the end of this semester or the end of this year, you have to understand what your day-to-day looks like. You have to know what your priorities are, and you have to know what your commitments are. And those need to be placed on your calendar. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to list out your priorities. Your priorities, meaning what do you consider to be important and where do you want to on purpose spend your time? I purposely want to spend my time with my husband. I purposely want to spend my time going to the gym. I purposely want to spend my time working with study school students, working with students one-on-one. I purposely want to spend my time delivering babies a couple days a week. I purposely want to spend my time hanging out with my friends. Those are my 5 priorities. Anything else, if I don't have time for it, it doesn't go on my schedule. It just doesn't. It's just not a season for that right now. So right now, those are my 5 priorities. What are your priorities? You're going to make a list of that. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to make a list of your commitments. So commitments are things that you cannot change. You're committed to them. Work is a commitment. Your lecture time, lab time is a commitment. If you are a part of any organizations, clubs, church things, those are commitments. They happen on a certain date and time that you have no control over. You can't change it. At some point, you can probably opt out of it, but for right now, it's a commitment. It's done. It's set in stone. It's going to happen when it happens, and you can't change it. So number 1, you're going to write down what your important things are, the things that you consciously, deliberately, and on purpose want to spend your time on. And if you're spending money on school and studying is not on that list, we need to have a conversation. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to make a list of your commitments. right? So if you work, that's a commitment. If you're a part of organizations, that's a commitment. Your schedule for classes is a commitment, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull out your calendar, right? I'm going to share my screen with you right now. You're going to pull out your calendar, whether it's a paper. So if you prefer a paper calendar like this, take your paper calendar out. If you have a digital calendar, take your digital calendar out, and you're going to put in all of your commitments. So anything that has a specific date and time where it happens, you're going to put that into your schedule. If you don't have time to do it right now, don't stress. Just make a note to yourself that you have to do it at some point, okay? This is an important part of creating a plan that helps you achieve your goals, that helps you set goals and actually stick to them, do them, hit them, etc. So you're going to put that inside of your calendar, okay? Then what you're going to do is you are going to schedule in your priorities. So remember the things that I said that you are going to deliberately spend your time on, that you are on purpose going to spend your time on. So you can't see it in this, but up there I have like workout time, free time, lunch, because it's important for me to eat, right? And I also have like this pretend job, this call center job that I just made up for this fake calendar. So that's what you're going to do. So let me recap, okay? Because I just gave you a lot. What? You're going to write down where you purposely want to spend your time. I urge you not to pick more than 5 priorities. Life gets kind of crazy when you have more than that. 2, I want you to list out all of your commitments. So the things that are set in stone that you have no control over when they happen. 3, I want you to put your commitments in your calendar. So all the things that are set in stone, work schedule, lab schedule, class schedule, organization meetings, church, whatever it is. 4, I then want you to go in and block out time for the things that you said were a priority for you. Your brain is going to want you to be confused right now. Many of you are going to type in the Q&A, how much time should I give myself? How many days should I spend with my family? Does it matter? Doesn't matter. Just pick something for next week, anything, because you can always change it. And every week it's going to be different, right? Some weeks are going to allow for you to spend more time with your family than others. But if you do not on purpose make the decision to carve out this time, it will not happen. And that's when you start feeling like your life is out of control. That's when you start feeling resentful towards your family. That's when you start hating the fact that you're in college right now. That's when you start feeling like college is taking over your life and you don't have time for anything else, because instead of on purpose creating the academic experience that you want, you are letting it happen to you. And then you're complaining about it when you had full power and control all along. So I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes this time. My workshops, I like to get stuff done on them. I don't want to just give you information and then have you do it later, because I know you're not going to. So we're going to do this right here because I want you to walk away with something. I want you to physically walk away feeling like you got something done on this workshop. So 15 minutes, I'm going to set my timer. I'm going to turn off my video, turn off my sound. You can play music in the background if you want. 15 minutes, write your list of priorities, write your commitments, put your commitments in your calendar. And for this next week, right? So next week, Monday through Sunday, block out when you're going to spend time on your priorities. And school better be one of them, okay? And by school, I don't mean your lecture. I mean when you are going to carve out some study time, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for 15 minutes. And we're starting now. When you're done, just type in done in the chat. Oh, and if you are not in school, just do this for whatever goal it is that you have. So carve out time to work on your goal. So if that's reading 7 books, carve out an hour a day to, read 10 pages of the book or whatever it is, okay? So we are at about the halfway mark. You have about 7 minutes. So just get through as much as you can get through. You can always go back after this workshop is done and fill in the rest of it. But I just want you to see that you have to be conscious in your life. You have to deliberately create the space in order to achieve your goals. And I want you girls to really feel that the power is all within you. Like you have it. You have it all along. You don't even like need to look to me to tell you what to do. Most of you already know. And so this is just like this workshop is really a reminder of that. So there's about 7 minutes. Finish up your workshops. Finish up your workshops. Finish up your calendars. And I'm going to go ahead and mute myself again. All right, perfect. So, okay, I have a couple questions for you. First of all, well, the first one is a statement. It's not a question, but look at how many of you were able to plan out your entire week in 15 minutes. The question that I have for you is how many of you in the chat, let me know, were you able to get everything that you consider to be important to you into your schedule? Were you able to carve out time for it? Even if it might not have been like the exact amount of time or your ideal amount of time that you wanted to spend on it, but were you able to get it in? So Terry says, yes, it was easier than I thought. This is the process that I use every week to plan out my week. That's how I make sure that the things that are important to me get into my calendar. I always start off by reminding myself of my goal. I pick a goal every month. I have a milestone that I pick every month. And then I start reverse engineering what I need to do, which is what we're moving into next. So all of you now have your study schedule or just your everyday schedule down. The next thing that we need to do is create a study routine. Now remember that I said the difference between these is that a study schedule or a schedule in general is when you're going to get something done, when you're going to do it. So it's a date and a time that you've purposely set apart for that. A study routine or a habit is just what you're physically doing, the action that you're taking during that time. And so that's what we have to do next is we have to figure out the actions that we're going to take during the time that we carved out to work on our goal, so that when we sit down to work on the goal, we're not confused. We're not wasting time trying to figure out what we need to do, and we can just get to work. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play a video that talks about how our brain learns. I'm going to break down that video. The video is literally like 2 minutes, so it's not going to take that long. It's 2 minutes. I'm going to break down the main things that I want you to take away from the video because it's going to help you when it comes to creating your study routine or to creating any habit that you're trying to create, okay?
Not so long ago, many scientists believed that the brain did not change after childhood, that it was hardwired and fixed by the time we became adults. But recent advances in only the last decade now tell us that this is simply not true. The brain can and does change throughout our lives. It is adaptable, like plastic. Hence, neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. How does neuroplasticity work? If you think of your brain as a dynamic, connected power grid, there are billions of pathways or roads lighting up every time you think, feel, or do something. Some of these roads are well-traveled. These are our habits, our established ways of thinking, feeling, and doing. Every time we think in a certain way, practice a particular task, or feel a specific emotion, we strengthen this road. It becomes easier for our brains to travel this pathway. Say we think about something differently, learn a new task, or choose a different emotion. We start carving out a new road. If we keep traveling that road, our brains begin to use this pathway more, and this new way of thinking, feeling, or doing becomes second nature. The old pathway gets used less and less and weakens. This process of rewiring your brain by forming new connections and weakening old ones is neuroplasticity in action. The good news is that we all have the ability to learn and change by rewiring our brains. If you have ever changed a bad habit or thought about something differently, you have carved a new pathway in your brain and experienced neuroplasticity firsthand. With repeated and directed attention towards your desired change, you can rewire your brain.
Okay, so I'm stopping the screen share now. Okay, so here is what I want you, the main points that I want you to take away from the video. Number one, notice how it said that the way that you think, the way that you feel, and the things that you do are all habits and wires in your brain that will just naturally fire because it's used to it. It's second nature to it. So at the beginning of this workshop, I had you write down your goals and then write down a list of thoughts. Those thoughts, you're in the habit of thinking. Your brain just automatically defaults to them. And that's the reason why you have yet been able to stick to your study schedule. That's the reason why you have not achieved your goal of losing 10 pounds. That's the reason why you haven't been able to save $100 a month, because the thought that you can't do it, that it's hard, that your ADHD is going to get in the way is a habit, and your brain believes it because there is something called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when your brain wants to keep on thinking what it's been thinking. It doesn't want to change because it has to work hard in order to do it. It's too much effort, and your brain doesn't want effort. It just wants to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and be as lazy as it can be to keep you alive. It wants to put in as little effort as possible. And so whenever you give it a new way of thinking, when you try to challenge your brain by giving yourself a goal, your brain literally freaks out and it tries to remind you of all the reasons why you couldn't do it in the past, because it doesn't want you to start trying. Because then if you start trying, it has to work. It has to work, and it doesn't want to work. Our biology literally works against us to try to achieve goals, which is crazy to me, which is why we can't allow ourselves to go unconscious and let that 2-year-old run wild in that room with all those scissors and knives. We have to physically remove the child from the room or clean up the space, clean up our thoughts, clean up our we can't let ourselves go unconscious. We have to pay attention and become aware of everything that's happening. And the way that we start doing that is through how our brain learns new things, which is called neuroplasticity. So the way that your brain learns new things, this is the next point that I want you to understand. So the first point that I wanted you to get from the video is that you have the ability to change, but you have to be deliberate about it, because otherwise your brain is just going to automatically default to the way it's thought before, to the way it's felt before, and to the way it's done things before, even if it goes against everything that you're trying to achieve for yourself. So you have to be deliberate about it. And the way that you do that is by leveraging how your brain works to actually help you out. And that is what my entire study plan is based off of. You guys have heard me talk about this very openly. The first thing that you need to do if you want to develop a new habit, or if you want to study well, is you have to come up with a system or a set of actions that helps you to learn new information, to expose yourself to new information. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Actually, I'm not going to share my screen with you. I'm just going to write it down right here. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to expose yourself to the new action, the new thought, the new topic, whatever it is that you're wanting to learn. So somebody first has to teach you how to hit a ball. Somebody first has to teach you about parallelograms. Somebody first has to show you how to do a backflip and walk you through the steps that you need to take in order to hit that backflip, or in order to understand how to break down a calculus problem. So every single one of your habits and or your study plans, your study routines needs to start off with exposure. The next thing that you need to do, if you remember the video, it says that the way that that neural pathway starts to get thick, I don't know if you saw it in the video, it got really thick and it started to become like fast, like a highway. You have to do directed and deliberate practice. So the next thing that you need to do is practice. And it has to be directed, meaning that it has to be purposeful and done accurately. It has to be directed, okay? So inside of your courses, inside of your little study environment, the way that I call practice, I actually call it testing to make sure, because you're practicing in a manner that's similar to how your test shows up. So you're testing to make sure. So when you're testing to make sure, you're practicing the material, you're practicing doing problems, you're practicing answering questions, you're practicing taking the information from your brain and speaking about it. You're practicing taking the information that you put in your brain and creating new ideas with it. You're practicing the information that you have in your brain and doing whatever is expected if you write homework assignments, practice exams, notes, whatever it is, right? That is what we're doing in order to make that neural pathway really thick in your brain. The next thing that you need to do is you need to get feedback and you need to get help. The reason why you need to get feedback and you need to get help and you need to make sure that this is part of your study routine. Now, remember, a study routine is what you do during your study time, the actions that you take while you're studying, is because you can practice all day long. You can regurgitate information all day long. You can rewrite your notes all day long. But if you're rewriting the wrong information, or if you're practicing solving a problem the wrong way, or if you're practicing thinking your way through something the wrong way, you're going to get really good at doing it the wrong way. And so you always want to make sure that you're getting feedback and you're getting help so that you're doing things accurately, so that you're doing it right, so that you're learning it in the right way. So your study routine needs to include a way to expose yourself. So how are you going to get that information in your brain? How are you going to practice it so that it becomes second nature, the way that you saw in that video, so that when you get to the exam, you automatically know the answer, or when you're doing your presentation, you don't even need to look at the cue cards because you know your crap. When you are asked to do a group project, you can already start thinking about different topics and different ways that you can present it and how you can make it creative. And then you're getting feedback and help to make sure that you're on the right path, to make sure that you're doing it right. Because you never want to practice hitting a ball the wrong way, because it's never going to go out of the field, right? Because you're never hitting it right. So that's the reason why feedback and help needs to be a part of your study routine. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you an example of one, of a study routine where I have chosen a way that I'm going to expose myself. I've chosen a way that I'm going to practice, and I've chosen a way to get feedback and help. And so now all I need to do is, when I have that time blocked off on my schedule, I can, with my to-do list, know specifically what I'm doing. Okay, from 10 to 2, I'm going to read pages 1 through 17, and I'm going to create a little summary. So at that time and date, I just sit down and I do it. I'm not wasting time. I'm being more productive. So let me show you what that looks like. So I will share my screen again. And here is the schedule, the little study routine that I created. So we have our way to expose. So in this pretend class, it looks like this is a history or an English class or something. I said I was going to read pages 12 through 24, and that it was going to take me about an hour. I always just guess how much time it's going to take me. And then if it takes me longer, the next week I just make sure to adjust for that. I said that I was going to write up a little outline of my analysis of those pages, and maybe that was going to take me about 30 minutes. And then I said that I was going to create flashcards on the terminology from those pages. So that's what I was going to do to expose, to get the information in my brain. To practice and test to make sure, I was going to make a list of essay practice questions from the informal writing assignments that this professor gives in class. And I was also going to test myself on the flashcards that I created. And that was going to take me in total about 45 minutes between the two things. And then if I needed the help, I was going to either read through my analysis pages and compare it to the PowerPoint. I was going to schedule a tutoring session. I was going to either write a list of things or questions that I was going to ask the tutor. I was going to decide which office hours I was going to go to, and I was going to write a list of things or questions I wanted to go over my professor with, so that, again, all the guesswork is taken out. And what I do, so I sit down and I do this every week. I create this type of a plan every week, usually on Sunday nights. Then what I do is I just put it into the time slots that I had you guys carve out. So then here, I start putting up, write up assignment, create the flashcards, print the guide, whatever it is, I know exactly where I'm going to do it inside of my planner. And so that is what you guys are going to work on next. So you're going to create a way to expose yourself. You're going to create a way to practice. You're going to create a way to get feedback or help for whatever class it is that you're working on. If you're doing like a standardized exam, you can use this same process. How are you going to expose yourself on the material that it's going to be covered on that standardized exam? How are you going to practice that stuff? And how are you going to get help and feedback if you need it to make sure that you're doing it right? So does anyone have any questions on that before I give you guys 10 minutes to work on that? Sure thing. So here is the calendar. So the orange, besides this orange, the orange was where I took the tasks from here. So I'm just gonna match it up. So the orange is where I took the tasks from here and I put them into my calendar for that week. And the way that I did this, to give you a little bit more of an explanation, is like, so this, I said it was going to take me about an hour. I just found an hour slot. So these white spaces, I found an hour slot where I could get that done. If something was going to take me 30 minutes, I would find a 30-minute slot and put it right there. And that's how you basically do it. So did that answer your question? Oops, I'm trying to. Oh, you can't see it. Okay. Let me share again. Can you see my screen now? Can you see the screen now? Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Okay. So what you're going to do, like I said, is, so I have a list of tasks over here for this week, and I have my calendar for this week. So what I did was I took whatever it was that I needed to do. I looked to see how much time it was going to take me. And I just guessed. Like, I don't really care if I'm right or wrong with guessing, because at the end of that assignment, I'm going to know how long it took me. And then if I have the same amount of pages to read next week, then I'll just give myself more time. I don't like try to get things perfect on the first try. I literally just experiment. Like, okay, I'm going to guess it's going to take me an hour. And if it takes me an hour and a half, then I give myself an hour and a half next week. So I look to see how much time it's going to take me. So this, I said about an hour. And then what I do is I just find an hour time slot and I put that little thing. So I literally copy it and paste it into my schedule, or I write it into my schedule, whichever method it is that you prefer, until everything that I need to get done for that week is inside of my schedule for that week. And when I put it in, I just highlight it. That's why all of these are highlighted here. So I'll leave this up, I guess, and then I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. I'm going to have you guys create your study routine for one of your classes, and you're just doing 1 week's worth of material. So this is why I said you needed to bring your syllabus, because you need to see what you need to read, what you need to work on, what's coming up, so that you can create your expose, practice, and relearning. So I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. It's starting right now, and I'm going to mute and turn off the video. All right, so we're done with that. How many of you were able to get it done, and how did that feel? All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the fourth part of the fourth element of a study plan that works. So that fourth part is mindset and emotional adulthood. Now, the reason why I want to cover this is because Kevin says she feels like she's finally going to accomplish something. Leslie says I'm halfway done, but at least I'm taking the time not to think what I'll do later, so it feels good. Yay, I'm so glad this is feeling freeing, and sounds like you guys are all aware of your time and like how much of it you actually have to get everything that you want to get done in your life. And that's really my intent with this, was to make you feel like you're in control of your life and like you have the power, because you always do. Now, here is the thing that I'm going to address right now, because girls, we've set a goal, right? We have a goal that we're a little bit afraid of, that we're a little bit intimidated of, but if we were to be able to hit it by the time frame that we said, we're going to feel like total rock stars. We're aware of all of the things that we feel are going to get in our way, like our thoughts and our obstacles. We know how much time we have. We are clear on what our priorities are, what we are going to deliberately and purposely spend our time on, and nothing else is going to get our time unless we say it is. We understand what we're going to be doing to get our habits in place, the actions that we're going to be taking with our study routine, and all of that is plotted out for the week. But here's what's going to happen. And I'm going to warn you right now. Here is what is going to happen. You're going to leave this workshop tonight feeling like you're going to get crap done, like you're on top of the world, like ain't nothing going to get in your way. But the reality is you're going to get in your own way. Your habit of thinking, your habit of feeling, and your habit of action or inaction is going to take over. The moment you set out to actually do what you say that you were going to do, you're going to procrastinate. You're going to get in your own head. You're going to try to avoid the discomfort and the effort that it's going to require for you to actually follow through. And if you are not conscious, if you don't have the mindset and the emotional management of an adult, you are going to revert back to that 2-year-old child that I talked about, who is let loose in a room full of scissors and knives, and you're going to kill your dream before you even gave yourself a chance to achieve it. So what we need to do is you need to be aware of all of the ways in which you unconsciously sabotage yourself. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a list right now. And I want you to write down the number that you say that this is what you do. So the first one is having the all or nothing mindset. So you're either going to do this plan perfectly next week, or the minute that you accidentally missed one of the things that you said that you were going to do, you're done. You're either going to do it perfectly, you're not going to do it at all, you're going to revert back to your other habit. If that's you, put a 1. That's going to stop you from ever hitting your goals. The other way that you unknowingly prevent yourself from achieving your goals is you're going to quit. So like I said, you're going to be motivated. You're going to feel excited to get started because I got you all set up with your plan, and creating plans are exciting, but you're going to struggle to stick with it at the very sign of boredom, hard work, and effort. If that's you, put a 2. The other way that you're going to probably prevent yourself from achieving this goal is you are going to procrastinate. You're going to complain that you don't have time. You are going to tell yourself you can start it later. You are going to wait until next week when you can start all over, right, and do it perfectly. And you're going to tell yourself that you work better under pressure. Even though I just showed you how to create a study schedule and I showed you that you have the time, some of you are going to do number 3. Who's that? Who is that? Number 3, drop it below. The other way that some of you are going to self-sabotage, even though I just helped you create an entire plan to help you achieve the goal that you have, is you're going to obsessively worry about what other people think of you, the goal that you set for yourself, that you're spending too much time on school or going to the gym, or look at you eating your salad, you think you're better than us. And you're going to doubt whether or not you are smart enough when you go to meet with your professor. You're going to start comparing yourself to everybody else's accomplishments. If that's you, give me a 4. The 5th way some of you are going to self-sabotage is you are going to start people-pleasing. And here's what people-pleasing looks like. Even though you set out this perfect plan for yourself, the moment someone says to you, oh, honey, can you do this for me? Do you think that maybe instead of going to your Tuesday class, you can come and help, me do this thing over here? Or, oh my God, you're not spending any time with me. All you worry about is school, school, school. And you're going to try to avoid all confrontation with people because you're afraid that you're going to lose their approval and their support. And you're going to start putting all of their priorities before yours. If that's you, drop a 5. And then you're going to be all bitter about it. If that's you, drop a 5. The 6th way some of you are going to self-sabotage, even though you have a plan right in front of you that I helped you create on this workshop, is you're going to indulge. Listen to the word that I'm saying. You're going to indulge in being confused. You're going to indulge in overthinking this, even though it's so simple, and you saw how simple it was. You're going to indulge in indecision. You are not going to start anything because you're going to be paralyzed by whether or not you are choosing the wrong study plan, whether or not you're choosing the wrong time to do things, whether or not you are making the wrong decisions in your life. So nothing's ever going to change because you're not going to be able to make a decision. If that's you, drop a 6. If you're going to pretend like you don't know how to do this, even though I literally just walked you through it, drop a 6 in the comments. You are probably going to self-sabotage by glorifying being busy. So even though I asked you to pick 5 priorities, some of you probably already wrote down 8. Even though I asked you to only put on your schedule the things that you consider to be important and that you purposely want to spend your time on, some of you already have listed out next week things that you're going to do for other people that you don't really care about, but you're worried that they're not going to like you if you don't do it. You're going to join 10 clubs. You are going to pick up another job. You're going to take on another 12 credits, despite the fact that you're already exhausted. Despite the fact that you're already feeling resentful and unhappy about your situation. Because you're going to equate your status, your worth, to how much you can achieve. And you take pride in how much you have going on. And that's the way that you compare yourself to others and you try to put yourself above them, is because I'm doing so much. Look at everything that I can do. Look how well I do it, even though behind the scenes, your whole life is a mess. If that's you, drop a 7. How many of you related to every single one of these, do every single one of these, are guilty about every single one of these? Because I've been there. And this is the reason why I openly say this, is because once you out yourself, nobody can hang anything over you. Out yourself. Just say, I'm guilty of all of these things. And now I'm aware of it. I didn't even realize that I was using that to prevent myself from achieving my goals. But now that you know that that's what's happening, guess what you just did? You just reclaimed power over your life. You just reclaimed power over your situation. And so what you need to do now is develop the emotional and mindset skills of an adult. And that's what I typically work with students on extensively inside of study school. So if you're here and you're inside of study school and you're struggling with this right now, girl, show up to study hall hours, get inside of the study school alumni community, because that's what all of that is there for, is for you to get that support to learn the skills of mindset and emotional adulthood. And the other thing that you need to make sure that's a part of your study plan on top of these skills, and if you're wondering how to get some of these skills, if you're not inside of study school, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a bunch of videos on it. They're live videos that I filmed all around mindset and emotional adulthood. So just go and watch them there. But the last thing that you guys want to have is support and community. Because when things get hard, when you get inside of your own head, it's really hard to try to get yourself out of it. The same mindset, the same thoughts, the same emotions that are creating the problem cannot come up with a solution. So it literally takes an outside perspective. It takes someone else reflecting back to you what they're seeing in order for you to see it in yourself. And so that's why mentorship and coaching is super important, because it allows someone else to objectively, because I'm not in it, right? I'm not emotionally feeling what you're seeing. So I can objectively look at what's going on and help you through it, help you to see it differently so that it's no longer holding you back. And that's all it's really going to take. You have all of the skills, all of the tools in order to continue to do this and keep up with it. The only thing that's going to get in your way is yourself. You're your own worst enemy. And what you guys need to learn how to do are the skills in order to be able to work your way through that. And that's what an academic life coach, someone like me inside of study school or one-on-one, can really do for you. I help you to break down your plans every single week. I help you to look at your syllabi and choose the appropriate study routines that are more effective than the ones that you probably wrote down, that are more in line with what your professor is going to test you on, because I know how to pick out all of these different words that they use that really clue you into what they're going to test you on and what they're expecting of you. I help you to really just hone in on the couple of things that are going to give you like really high impact on your grades without spending so much time, so that you can spend the rest of your life living it instead of in a library or sitting down in front of a book. And then when you get stuck, because it happens 95% of the time, you hit a point where you get stuck, where you're in a rut, where you don't know what to do, where you can't get out of your own way, where you're self-sabotaging time and time again, where you're preventing yourself from reaching your potential, and you know it, deep down you know it. You're like, I'm meant for more than this. Like, I'm not this kind of a student. I'm not a procrastinator. I'm not this lazy. This isn't me. And you feel stuck. We work through together with the proper mindset strategies and tools and techniques and like really simple things that help you to get you out of your own way through the study hall hours and through the study school community. So if you're interested in that, study school is open enrollment, meaning you can join it at any time. So if you're interested in that, you can go to www.sherockpsychology.com/study-school and you can enroll. We have several different payment options to make it more accessible for students. But even if you don't decide to enroll in study school today, this workshop has given you everything it is that you need in combination with my YouTube videos. It might take you a little bit of extra time and effort to do it on your own, but you can. And okay, so you are watching how much time we prevent myself from achieving my goals. But now that you know that that's what's happening, guess what you just did? You just reclaimed power over your life through it. Help you to see it differently so that it's no longer holding you back. And that's all it's really going to take. You have all of the skills, all of the tools in order to continue to do this and keep up with it. The only thing that's going to get in your way is yourself. You're your own worst enemy. And what you guys need to learn how to do are the skills in order to be able to work your way through that. And that's what an academic life coach, someone like me inside of study school or one-on-one, can really do for you. I help you to break down your plans every single week. I help you to look at your syllabi and choose the appropriate study routines that are more effective than the ones that you probably wrote down, that are more in line with what your professor is going to test you on, because I know how to pick out all of these different words that they use that really clue you into what they're going to test you on and what they're expecting of you. I help you to really just hone in on the couple of things that are going to give you like really high impact on your grades without spending so much time, so that you can spend the rest of your life living it instead of in a library or sitting down in front of a book. And then when you get stuck, because it happens 95% of the time, you hit a point where you get stuck, where you're in a rut, where you don't know what to do, where you can't get out of your own way, where you're self-sabotaging time and time again, where you're preventing yourself from reaching your potential, and you know it, deep down you know it. You're like, I'm meant for more than this. Like, I'm not this kind of a student. I'm not a procrastinator. I'm not this lazy. This isn't me. And you feel stuck. We work through together with the proper mindset strategies and tools and techniques and like really simple things that help you to get you out of your own way through the study hall hours and through the study school community. So if you're interested in that, study school is open enrollment, meaning you can join it at any time. So if you're interested in that, you can go to www.sherockpsychologist.com/study-school and you can enroll. We have several different payment options to make it more accessible for students. But even if you don't decide to enroll in study school today, this workshop has given you everything it is that you need in combination with my YouTube videos. It might take you a little bit of extra time and effort to do it on your own, but you can. And I want to make that clear. You can do this by yourself, but it's harder when you don't have the support. It's harder when you don't have that feedback. It's harder when you don't have that person there supporting you and helping you to get out of your own crap and to be able to move forward. But I hope that this workshop was helpful. And I'm also just going to drop the link to study school in the chat in case you want it. There's never any pressure from me. I don't feel the need to prove to you whether or not study school is the right thing for you. You're either going to know it or not. You either need it or not. And I'm just here to help you make a decision, whether that's yes or no. I don't care. I just don't want you to stay stuck in indecision, because that's just going to waste a lot of mental space for you. So if you're in, you're in. If you're not, you're not. If you're curious, I'm going to also just give you a little sneak peek inside of study school. So this is what study school looks like when you're inside. So we have a welcome video that walks you through exactly how to use study school. We have lessons on study school success formula, which literally walks you through any scenario that you might find yourself in during the semester and what specific lessons, activities, worksheets are going to help you out from study school. We have lessons on managing your time and priorities. So what we did today is what this lesson is about, except it goes into way more detail. You actually see me build a study routine from start to finish, build my schedule from start to finish, etc. We have lessons all around mastering your mindset, because like I said, that is the number one thing that it's going to kill you it's the only reason why you haven't achieved your goal right now is because you don't know how to master your mindset. And I teach students how to go through and actually create the life that they want and achieve everything that they want, so that procrastination is no longer an issue, so that self-sabotaging is no longer an issue, so that you can stand in your own power, in your own confidence, in your self-assurance, and you become the type of person that when she says that she's going to go after something, she actually does it. We have lessons all about syllabus and how to make the most use out of them, and also how to have helpful conversations with your professors, how to befriend them so that they tell you what and how to succeed on your exams. Lessons on writing notes, creating your study guide and your study plans, fixing failed exams or papers, or upping your grade if that's what you need. And like I said, each of these lessons have worksheets. They also have next action steps, so you never have to wonder, what should I be working on? Because you will know, okay, this is exactly what I need to do if this is what I'm experiencing. In addition to this lesson, we have a lesson all on study groups and group projects, because I know those are a big pain in the butt, trying to manage all of that and manage everybody's personality and the lazy people in the groups. We have lessons on mapping out your papers and final exam plans, and that literally walks you through the process of writing your paper, the brainstorming process. It really takes the guesswork out of all of it. And then we also record every single one of our weekly Q&A. There's several times during the week where like you're on a workshop right now, face to face, you can ask me questions and get my support. And then we also have the study school community, which is hosted on like a little forum that you can access from your phone that's specific to study school students. So I just wanted to give you a behind the scenes, so that if you are wondering what the hell is study school, what does it look like, what's the benefit of it, you can like get a visual understanding of what study school is like.
All right, so that is the conclusion of the workshop for tonight. Hopefully you all found this extremely helpful. This is going to be up here on YouTube, so that those of you who are not starting classes until September, not starting classes until the end of August, if you don't have your syllabus yet and you aren't able to follow through completely with the workshop, you can come back, do this again. I want to invite you to study school as of tonight. Today is August 9th, 2019 at 9 p.m. tonight. The price for study school is going up. So if you're interested, if you have questions, if you're not sure if study school is the right fit for you, feel free to reach out to my email address, clarissa@sherocksatcollege.com. clarissa@sherocksatcollege.com with your questions. If you're not sure, if you're hesitant because you're not sure if study school is going to be a right fit, you're fearful, you're not sure if it's going to work for you, I am super honest with students. I will let you know straight off the bat whether or not you should enroll in study school or seek out tutoring services or mental health services, or if you're good, if you can just keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. But the price for study school is going up tonight, August 9th, 2019 by $300. Currently, the price is $997. It will be going up to $1,297, so that's $1,297. And we have a bunch of testimonials on the study school information page, as well as here on the YouTube channel, so that you can hear not from me but from students who've actually gone through it, from all different backgrounds, all different circumstances, all different levels of failure, etc., how study school has helped them to step into their brilliance, see success, and balance and create harmony between academics and everyday life. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I hope you have an amazing rest of your weekend. Bye.